Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you're new. My name is Olivia and this is another video in my series called Did I Nail It?, where I use polishes from my own nail polish collection and see if I can try to do newer polishes that are coming out in upcoming releases. And the one that I'm focusing on today is Hella Handmade Creations, or HHC, for their October release, which is going to be available for sale between October 14th to the 21st. And there were a lot of polishes to choose from for this month. I look across social media, Facebook groups, email newsletters that I get from various brands, and there's just always more and more out there that is being put in front of us as potential consumers. And I think that part of why I wanted to start this channel and this series was as an exercise for myself to try to find some better balance between wanting to support nail polish brands, particularly indie makers, but to also do so in a way where I'm not just bringing in to my collection more and more polishes that I don't have the place to store and that I don't have the time to use. And I've found that through the course of doing this series, it's helped me to fall in love all over again with some of the polishes in my collection that I might not have picked up for a while. So for today's video, I have selected 5 different polishes that I'm going to try to dupe. It's going to be a fun challenge, and I encourage all of you to follow along with me, especially if there are some polishes you see that are on your HHC wish list, and share your results with me in the comments. I'm always curious to hear which of these methods ended up working out well for other people too. So let's go ahead and get into it. The first polish that I'm going to try to dupe from this month's HHC is On a Sunday by Penelope Luz, described as having an aqua blue base with turquoise shimmer. As always, I like to start with something that's, I would say, easy for me, something that I feel will have some measure of success to it, so that we can have some easy wins before getting onto some of the more difficult ones. To start with this, I have applied 3 coats of cracked polishes Breakfast at Monique's, which is, it's listed on their website as being a jelly. I would say, personally, I think the consistency is about somewhere in between a jelly and a crelly, but it's still a lovely polish either way. And then knowing that On a Sunday has what's described as turquoise shimmer, I don't have a turquoise shimmer topper, but I do have this blue one, which is from Bee's Knees Lacquer Nosferatu. And I love this polish here. It is one that anytime I feel like I put on some nail polish and there's something that's kind of missing, especially if it's a blue base, I feel like adding this on top of it just really lights it up. So I don't know if this combination is going to give me an exact match for On a Sunday. Best case scenario is that it does, but even if it doesn't, I'm looking to see if the result of this is something that I would like enough to try to wear as a full manicure at some point. So let's see. Oh, okay. At first I was a little concerned here. Before I go ahead and apply the full rest of this coat, I'm actually going to leave it like this for just a quick second so that you can see what's going on here. Nosferatu does have a bit of a like a dark gray base to it. It's not just a blue shimmer. So as I was putting this on at first, I thought, uh-oh, I kind of forgot about that. That's a bad thing. But no, actually in this case, I think that dark gray base that's in it is actually helping to more closely match what I'm seeing in On a Sunday. So this is pretty close, I think. I'm actually quite surprised. I mean, this is, it looks very similar to what I'm seeing in the pictures there. So this combination here, I'm feeling great about this. But I have something else that I think might be even more of a match for on a Sunday. And this is one of the rare times where I look through my collection and it turns out I have a polish that just on its own looks like it might be an exact dupe of the polish that I'm trying to match. And in this case, it is Great Lakes Lacquer, the Heart. And I adore this polish. It's very turquoise, aqua, shimmery, just absolutely lovely. So I'm gonna see how this looks. I'm curious to see a couple things. One being, how close does it align with on a Sunday, which is what we're going for, but then also to what extent does it align with this combination here of Breakfast at Monique's and Nosferatu. That's gonna be interesting. So let's go ahead and see. And I know typically the Great Lakes lacquer polishes tend to be very opaque, so I wouldn't be surprised if it turns out that I might only need like, maybe, I was hoping this might be a 1-coater, but this might end up being like a 2-coater here. Okay. So here's what I'm thinking now that I'm gonna do. I am going to, because I'm looking at the level of sheerness that's here with the Heart, I'm curious to see what would happen if, well, for one thing, I'm going to continue to build up this in at least 2, if not 3 coats. But then I also want to go ahead and do another 3 coats of Breakfast at Monique's like I did starting here. And then, well, maybe 2. We'll see. I've got enough swatches here where I might do like show the difference between like 2 coats of Breakfast at Monique's and then 3, just so that you all can see that as well. And go back with a coat of the Heart as a topper over that, so that we can compare and see, well, what's the difference between using Nosferatu as a topper versus the Heart as a topper. So I'm going to go off camera for a couple minutes to get these next couple swatches queued up, and I will be right back. Okay, I am back and I have applied 2 coats of Breakfast at Monique's to this nail and then 3 coats of it here. And again, part of this was that I wanted to be able to show you the difference in what I mean about how that polish builds up. And you know, it's up to you, obviously, how you want to wear it, but I just feel that whenever I wear it, I get a much more complete look with the 3 coats there. So just a tip for using that polish. Okay, now where we left off here was that we had just 1 coat of Great Lakes Lacquer, the Heart. So I want to go back to that and see how it looks when I put the 2nd coat on it. I mean, on its own here, it is looking very similar to the Penelope Luz polish of, on a Sunday. That's pretty nice. Okay. And here is where I'll also say that part of the approach that I take with these Did I Nail It videos is not always looking necessarily for an exact 1-to-1 match of a polish, but if I can get close enough, then that's a win for me, and especially if I'm matching the vibe of it. So in this case, when I look at the Penelope Luz polish from HHC, what kind of vibe comes to mind for me there, and and I don't know if this is what the maker was intending, but what it just says to me is like the vibe of going to the beach on a very cloudy day. So you've got a blue ocean in front of you at the beach, but then you also have clouds in the sky instead of pure sunlight. That's the vibe I'm going for. So as long as I can accomplish that, I will be happy. I might add a third coat here because that still is not giving the opacity that I want. So let's do a third coat of the heart. Okay. It added up a little bit more, or built up a bit more. That's cool. And now really the additional test that I added on here, I want to see how the heart looks when I put it as a topper over 2 coats and then 3 coats of Cracked Polish's Breakfast at Monique's. Will it look like on a Sunday? Will it look like going to the beach on a cloudy day? I have no idea. Let's see. Okay, that's over the 2. Okay, so that there is showing me that, okay, so what I'm looking at here is trying to see the extent to which, where did Breakfast at Monique's end and where did the heart begin? Especially for something like the heart, which is a limited edition polish that I can't just go and buy another backup of. I definitely want to try to preserve as much of this as I can. So looking here and seeing, even just removing the Penelope Luz polish from the equation and just seeing the comparison between these two here and knowing that I did 3 coats of the heart with this swatch and then 2 of Breakfast at Monique's and 1 of the heart. I mean, the next time I want to wear the heart, I could probably get away with using just 1 coat of it over Breakfast at Monique's and calling it a day, and it looks exactly the same. So that makes me happy. But I also want to see if there is any difference there now with opacity, putting it over 3 coats of Breakfast at Monique's. From what I'm seeing here, like, it's a very subtle difference. I would want to do a couple things. One is always taking this outside into natural lighting to see if there's any difference there. And I would also want to wear it on my fingers before committing to, oh, okay, I need to do 2 of Breakfast at Monique's, or I need to do 3. But and sorry, I've kind of just moved completely away from this first one. Whoops. But as you can see, for what we're going for with trying to match on a Sunday, the question of, did I nail it? Not exactly, but I think that when it comes to the question of, does this get close to that vibe of being at the beach on a cloudy day, this is good enough for me. And then when it comes to me and my personal purchasing choices, I will ask myself, is this vibe something that I want to feel enough times to where I need to have multiple options for being at the beach on a cloudy day in my collection? And honestly, my answer for that is no. So in short, this doesn't match on a Sunday exactly, but I got close enough to the vibe to be satisfied with this as a really good dupe. And I don't need to buy on a Sunday because I'm very happy with pulling out this combination anytime that I want to be on a cloudy beach. So let's go and see how it looks in some other lighting. The next polish that I'm going to try to dupe in this video is Blue Water by Indie Polish by Patty Lopes. It's described as having a light blue magnetic and blue base with blue aurora shimmer. We're just continuing like being at the ocean and the water. Now, whereas the vibe from the previous one was, like I said, being at the beach on a cloudy day, I look at this as being at the beach on just the most beautiful sunny day where the sun just causes the water to sparkle blue and it just looks lovely. So what I've done to swatch out the two blue bases that I want to try for this one, on the left we have a combination of Bee's Knees Lacquer Void black cream polish, and on top of that I put Mooncat's House of Hades. I think I mentioned in my previous video that I did on House of Hades is that on its own this one can often take like 3-4 coats to build up to opacity, and knowing that it is one of the pricier nail polishes that's out there, I personally recommend using it as a topper over a dark blue or black cream polish. You get basically the exact same level of opacity, but with far fewer coats of House of Hades required for that. And then next to that, the other blue polish that I have is Sally Hansen Insta-Dry on the Download. I decided to include this one as a good drugstore option in case any of you who may not have House of Hades, but you do have some kind of blue cream polish in your collection. You can see what the result of this would look like and how it would compare. Now, I would say looking at the description of Blue Water, it says that there is blue Aurora shimmer in there. I'll say right now, we're not gonna get that in either of these results, but that's okay. I am mainly interested in seeing what I'm going to get if I put Fancy Gloss's light blue magnetic top coat over House of Hades versus the Sally Hansen on the Download. So I'm gonna start with the Mooncat House of Hades combination here. I'm just gonna do this in the cat eye style and see how it looks. I'll also mention that I know lately in the nail polish community, one of the most popular polishes out there that a lot of people have been talking about is Bee's Knees Lacquer's recent Bad Vibes Only polish that I believe very quickly sold out. And from what I understand, it's very similar to what I'm trying to do here, where you've got like a dark blue base and then some kind of lighter blue on top. That was actually like, I didn't test this combination at the time, I don't think, but knowing that I had the pieces in my collection to basically make this on my own, that's why I personally didn't buy Bad Vibes Only, because like if I can do this here, and y'all, this looks really close to Blue Water already, even without having Aurora shimmer in there, why then do I need to buy an entirely separate polish to do that? So I'm very happy with this result. I still want to do the result over, or I still want to do the combination over on the Download and see what I can get from there. Like, I know that the House of Hades and Void combination was a bit darker than what we've got here for on the Download. So part of my concern is going to be, will on the Download be dark enough for there to end up being enough contrast for that blue, for that light blue magnetic line to still come through and be visible. Oh, wow. Oh. I love how I'm just like saying, making these sounds, and then I had to remind myself, okay, Olivia, explain why you're just making these weird noises. Okay, so here's where I'm thinking. I thought that the House of Hades starter was going to be the winner here, but now that I see on the Download, I'm seeing that there is this, I love how much more vibrant this is. And what I think that I need as the base to really match Blue Water is going to be somewhere in between these two. So what I'm going to do next, off camera, is do another swatch here. I'm gonna do the same 2 coats of On the Download to start with. Then I'm gonna put 1 coat of House of Hades on top of that, and then I'm gonna magnetize over this and see what happens. While I'm doing that, I'm also going to use my DRK magic effect to tighten up these magnetic lines a bit so that it's a little bit easier for me to see the contrast between the magnetic line and what's underneath. But I love it when this happens. Like, this was something that I really thought going into this that one of these 2 would be the clear winner, but I'm seeing that we need to do some more testing. So I'm gonna go prepare the next swatch and I'll be right back. Okay, so this experiment, this is a really fun one, y'all. I love this already, and I haven't even added the blue magnetic polish on top of this. But hopefully so far you can already see why I decided to add this additional swatch to test out. That here, when I put House of Hades over a black cream polish, you can still tell it's blue, but it's definitely darker. This here on the Download on its own, I think is a little too bright. No, let me rephrase that. It's not that it's too bright, it's that it's a very vivid blue without having a lot of texture, depth, and dimension to help balance it out. And that is where I think that what I've done here so far, with having 2 coats of On the Download with 1 coat of House of Hades on top of that, is really giving me this nice in-between happy medium that I was looking for. So we're trying to see if we can get this to match blue water, and I'm feeling very optimistic about this. Let's see. Oh, yep, that's it. Yeah. And again, I know y'all can't see it yet. You will in a second, but I will say that this is it right here. Yes. Do you see what I mean about the difference between these 3? It's like Goldilocks and the 3 Bears. This one was a little bit too gloomy for me. This one was a little bit too sunny for me. And I think I said earlier that the vibe of this is a sunny day, but I do feel that this one is just right. That we get the nice pop of vivid blue that On the Download is bringing, but we get the extra texture and dimension that House of Hades puts into this. And then, of course, we get the light blue magnetic top coat from Fancy Gloss to round out the picture. Y'all, this looks pretty much exactly like blue water for me. Did I nail it? Yes. I will absolutely be wearing this combination at some point. I'm very happy with how this turned out, and I'm excited to see it in the sunlight. The next polish on my wish list for this month is Crack Polish Cursed Cranberry, and it's described as a rich, buildable cranberry jelly laced with fine purple aurora pigments that catch the light like a secret waiting to be discovered. I love that description. I have swatched out here on these 2 nails Crack Polish Sweeter the Juice, which I would, similar to the Breakfast at Monique's from earlier, I would describe as having a consistency that's somewhere in between a jelly and a crelly. On each of these swatches here, I have built up Sweeter the Juice in 3 coats. I recommend 3 for this polish just to get that, not just the full opacity, but also to cover up any potential brush strokes that happen along the way. And so next, the first contender to go on top of Sweeter the Juice would be Fancy Gloss Let It Glow Red Pink. Now, what I remember from the last time I tried testing with this polish is that when it says red pink, it does not mess around. Like, it means red and pink. My question though is going to be, will this topper be so strong that it will overtake Sweeter the Juice and not allow me to still see this like magenta base that we've got to begin with? Because when I look at the pictures of Cursed Cranberry, I still see the magenta that we're starting with here. What I think I'm trying to work up towards is this, but like a little bit of pink in it, like a little bit of pink shimmer. I'm starting with this one first because I think it's gonna be too much, but let's have fun and just jump into it and see what happens. I mean, I will be surprised if this ends up not completely overtaking it, but you know, stranger things have happened. Oh, okay, I was surprised. I'm really surprised. Okay, I think it's probably because I'm putting this on top of a matching color that, oh wow. I was so afraid that it was gonna like stand out in a way that didn't like allow me to see the purple underneath, but that's very pretty. It's glowing. I mean, it's called Let It Glow. But I now understand why it's called that. Okay, that looks pretty good, even in this indoor lighting right now. The second option that I've pulled out from my collection is Crack Polish Petals on the Surface. Now, this is actually a magnetic polish, and it's beautiful. It's pink. It has this like golden glow to it when it's magnetized especially, but for the purpose of this comparison, I'm actually not going to magnetize it because I want to see how this looks when I put it over Sweeter the Juice. I'm hoping that the pink glow that you see here in the bottle here will be on top of the nail and give a nice soft glow. We'll see. I'm very surprised that this may end up being a closer comparison than I was expecting. Oh yeah, okay, this is gonna be tough. Oh, I'm really gonna have to look closely and see the differences here. Okay, if I were to compare these, and if I were to compare, I mean, that's clearly why we're here, we're comparing. I'm seeing that on the left with Let It Glow, my impression of this is that it elevated Sweeter the Juice in a way that gave it a little bit of a shimmer. And I do mean a little bit of shimmer because now that the polish has started to dry down a bit, I'm not seeing that shimmer stand out as clearly as it did when it was still freshly applied and wet. So I also, would want to wait a moment to do the same level of comparison for applying petals on the surface. But already here, I can tell that the difference between these two and where we started with just Sweeter the Juice on its own, at this angle, I feel like adding petals on the surface took this polish to a much different place than I'm getting from Let It Glow. And so if I were to say, going back to what we're trying to compare this against, which is Cursed Cranberry, between these two, did I nail it? I think yes. I think that with both of these, I have some pretty good options for having a magenta jelly crelly-ish base, but with a little bit more shimmer and shine that you would get with just a jelly curly polish on its own. It's giving it more dimension and more visual interest there. And I do like that there's some options here. I feel that on the left, adding Let It Glow gives a lot more of a subtle result. Whereas if you're wanting to pull out even more of the magenta that's in Sweeter the Juice and deepen that even a little bit, Petals on the Surface would be what I would recommend. So for myself, knowing that I have a ton of purple magenta polishes in my collection that I have available to wear, and with this particular combination giving me 2 additional ways to wear Sweeter the Juice, I'm very happy with how both of these turned out. And I don't think that I'll need to buy Cursed Cranberry, though I do think it's a beautiful polish with a very fantastic name. The next polish that I'm going to try to dupe in this video is from LynB Designs, a Little Hot-Headed, which is described as having a pinky red base with gold to green to blue shifting shimmer and added hollow shimmer. And this is actually not a polish that I have on my HHC wish list, but there's a couple reasons why I decided to add it into this video. One being that it's in a color family and type of finish that finish combination that I haven't yet covered in any of the videos on my channel, and so I want to be able to include that for those of you who are watching who are drawn to this type of polish. And the other reason being that it has a cap of 150 polishes that will be available for this month's sale, which is a little bit on the lower end compared to some of the other polishes that will be made available. And so knowing that there's going to be fewer of them available, I wanted to make sure that I could give an option out there for any of you who are hoping to purchase it, but if it runs out, at least you can hopefully have a backup option. I will also say that this is going to be one of those dupe attempts that I'm already telling myself, trust the process. So here's what we've got. I've swatched out 3 different polishes to start with. The one on the left is Cirque Colors Road Rage. This one is done in 2 coats. In the middle, I have Zoya Celi is what's in the middle there. That's done in 3 coats. And then on the right, I've got OPI, Heart, and let's focus the camera there. Let's focus. There we go. Heart and Console. It's a pun. We love it. And so we've got these 3 different options here that are addressing the part of the polish description that says a pinky red base. I feel that all 3 of these polishes so far qualify in that regard, just in, you know, slightly different ways, which is going to make this process even more interesting to see how they vary. So the next part of the description says there's a gold to green to blue shifting shimmer. Okay, so there's like 3 different colors in there with shifting. I'm going to focus on one of those. I'm going to focus on the gold part of the shifting shimmer through using BCB Lacquer's Next Question topper. And I do love this topper. As you can see in here, it's like, it looks like sparkly lemonade, but nail polish. And it's gorgeous and adds a really nice gold shimmer over the polish. So I'm gonna put this over Road Rage. You can already see it picks that up very, very well. The Zoya, okay, I need to commit to one way of pronouncing this. Celi, I'll just say Celi. Okay. The one in the middle, Celi, already has some shimmer in it, as does the OPI, Heart and Console. So I'm going to be especially interested to see how adding this will affect that. Like, will it be too much shimmer? Maybe? Okay, I'm gonna wait until I've done it for all three of these to really give my opinion here. Let's put it over the OPI. Oh, okay. Oh, no. Oh, no. I love how I said, oh yeah, I'm gonna wait until I've put the topper over all three and then I'll give my opinion. And here I'm like, oh no. Also, it looks like the brush kind of smudged a bit of the underlying polish, but you can still see the effect. Okay, I'll start here. The reason I was saying oh no was that I think the Heart and Console is already leaning very orange, like pinky red, which is what we want. But I feel that the addition of the yellow, the gold yellow shimmer topper doesn't really go well with it. It just doesn't play up against the strengths of the underlying polish color. I would therefore not recommend this combination so far. Going back in the middle to Sealy, yeah, that actually looks really good. I think the addition of the BCB Lacquer's gold shimmer, it looks very good here. And same with this up against Road Rage. With this being a cream, you're obviously going to have a much different result of opacity when you compare this to these two. But as I have with where I am now, how does this compare to a little hot-headed? I think that Road Rage and Sealy are probably the best two in the let me pause for a second, actually, because let me tell you where I was going with this. I think that Road Rage and Sealy so far with that topper combination look the best to me personally, but the longer that I look at the Heart and Console with the gold shimmer topper on it, I mean, I'm gonna have to take this in outdoor lighting to confirm what I'm thinking, but I almost feel like this one actually looks the closest to a little hot-headed. Wow, okay. I love it when things happen in these videos that just completely take me by surprise. So let's see the last part. So the final part of the description of a little hot-headed is added hollow shimmer. And for this, I am bringing in LynB's My Private Rainbow X, which is a scattered silver holographic topper, and one of my favorites in my collection. So we're just going to add this onto all three of these just to finish it out and just then have the final verdict with where things stand. Okay. Very pretty and sparkly. You know, I actually tried wearing Road Rage the other day and I love the color of it, but I'm a seasonal polish wearer and Road Rage was just a little bit too summery for me and I just couldn't do it. I had to take it off. It's getting darker here sooner and I just could not do the neon. But if there is a day when we do have a lot of sunlight, I might pull it out and see how that goes. Oh, okay. The addition of the hollow is suddenly making me think differently about this one on the right. And this is where I'm having to go into a completely different mindset because, as I mentioned, a little hot-headed is not a polish that was personally on my wish list, but I do still want to start branching out into trying to do polishes beyond just the ones that I would personally buy, because I will be very honest and say if we only ever stick to the polishes that are on my wish list, we're just going to be seeing like all vampy reds, all purples all the time, and that's not going to be really helpful after a certain point. So variety, yay. But here, yeah, I think that the question of did I nail it between these three, I feel that yes, I did. I think that probably your best bet, if you're looking for the level of opacity that is in a little hot-headed, you would most likely want to use something like either Sealy or Heart and Console rather than a full-on cream that is super, super opaque. Here you get a little bit more of that sheerness that comes into it. And yeah, between these two here, I think that they both seem to align very well with what a little hot-headed is doing. So I want to go see these sparkle in the sunlight, and I hope that this comparison was very helpful for those of you who do have this polish on your wish list for this month. The final polish that I'm going to try to dupe in this video is Pepper Polish Enchanted Confection. It's described as being a red multi-chrome magnetic polish illuminated by an aurora shimmer that reveals sparkling shifts of green, turquoise, blue, and purple. Okay, we're gonna end this video on a very ambitious note is basically what that means. This is another polish that is similar to the one that we just did before. This is not actually on my personal wish list, but I wanted to include it in this video for those of you who do have it on your wish list. This one has a cap of only 70 polishes that will be available once the shop opens. And also it's only in a 10 milliliter bottle. So it might be the case that because of the relatively smaller sizes of this particular bottle, you know, some people might buy multiples of them, and that could also reduce the availability for other people who want to get it. And so that's why I want to see what I could pull out from my own collection and try to put together some kind of close option for those of you who may not be able to purchase it, or perhaps you do get to purchase it and then you like it a lot, but then because this was a limited time polish, you want to be able to replicate it somehow. So we're starting with KB Shimmer Obsidian, which is a red to black multi-chrome polish that I've started with on both of these swatches here, 3 coats on each. So far so good, right? It says red multi-chrome. We're good. This is going amazing so far. Now here's where we're going to see what happens next. It says that it is so it's a magnetic polish, and I see that we've got this red magnetic stripe and like the cat eye effect in the swatch photos. So I've pulled out 2 options here. One is LynB's Poison. The other is Emily Damali Fiery Attraction. In one of my recent tutorial videos where I talked about what I call the magnetic pond effect for different layering options with magnetic polishes, I actually compared the way that these two look for any of you who are curious. I'll put a link to that in the description so that you can easily get over to it. But it's a very common question in the nail polish community. When you're looking for a red magnetic polish, which one of these should you go with? I will say, in my personal opinion, Emily Damali Fiery Attraction is red. LynB Poison is orange. It can look orange red in certain lighting, but if you're looking for red, go with this one. But because these are the only 2 that I have in my collection that might be able to pull off this look of Enchanted Confection, I wanted to try both of them and see how they would look. Now, one other point of comparison that I think that I recall from having worked with both of these polishes is that Fiery Attraction tends to have more opacity to it when you use it, whereas Poison can be a bit more sheer, which is good for times when you're wanting to have some visibility into what's underneath. Like if I want to still be able to see that I've got a multi-chrome underneath, you know, even though Poison I'm saying is orange, if I'm looking to still see evidence of this being on top of a multi-chrome, maybe this could be a better option. I don't know. And then after this, there's another thing we're gonna put on there, but first let's go with the magnetic part. Okay, so on top of our 3 coats of KB Shimmers Obsidian, I'm going to start and put 1 coat of Emily Molly Fiery Attraction. As I'm magnetizing this, I'll also say that Obsidian is a polish that when I bought it, I tried it out, and I haven't yet been able to find how I want to wear this red to black, black to red multi-chrome polish. So, you know, maybe it's the case that this combination, however this turns out, could be something that helps me to fall in love with Obsidian. Okay, here's what we've got so far with Fiery Attraction over Obsidian. I mean, it's clearly a red magnetic polish. I'm no longer seeing as much of the evidence of this being on top of a multi-chrome as I mentioned, but there's more that we'll do with this, so I'm not giving up on this just yet. Next, I'm going to do 1 coat of Poison over top of these 3 coats of Obsidian. Yeah, and you know, my bottle of Poison, I'll say, is about halfway down, and I'm at the point where I'm wondering, you know, once this one is out, do I want to buy it again? I don't know, but we'll see. But do you see what I mean already about how, like, the difference in the opacity for this compared to Fiery Attraction? This is one of those nuances with working with various polishes that it's helpful to, I'll say it's helpful to have a sense of how the polishes in your collection behave, because that can help you to better make more informed decisions about which ones you want to layer together based on how you know that they act. Okay. Oh, okay. See, what I really want is, for the purpose of this test, I would love to have this color of red, but with that level of opacity, so that I could still see that I've put this on top of a multi-chrome, like I can see right now. But there's more that we're gonna do. So what I want to do next is always to tighten up the magnetic line. I'm gonna go off camera for a second to apply the DRK magic effect, and then I'll come back and we'll do the final part of this comparison. Now we're in this home stretch as we are trying to do this comparison and dupe attempt for Pepper Polish's Enchanted Confection. As I mentioned, I put DRK magic effect over both of these to tighten up the magnetic line, and now we are at the final piece where I've pulled out Lumen Electric Jaguar. Wow. I don't know why I did that. And you can see just how sparkly this is. The reason I pulled this out was that the description of Enchanted Confection says that it has an aurora shimmer that reveals sparkling shifts of green, turquoise, blue, and purple. I mean, I can't say for sure that all of those are necessarily in here, but this has a lot of, like, I see green. It's got a lot of color variation in here that I think will tie everything together in a way that might get us close to what I'm seeing in these swatch photos of Enchanted Confection. Now, as always, anytime that I put another polish on top of magnetic, I'm going to remagnetize, just because it will re-wet those underlying layers, and I want to make sure to keep that line crisp. I don't know how this is going to go. I mean, what I want to have happen is that adding Electric Jaguar will still, it'll give me that shimmer and sparkle that I'm seeing in Enchanted Confection, but I'm hoping it will also still allow the magnetic line to be present. Let's take a leap and see how this goes. Okay. Oh wow, I should have reversed the order. That did not, yeah, I didn't realize that Enchanted or that Electric Jaguar was this opaque, or that it could present this opaque. Like, can you even tell that there's a magnetic line underneath there? Like I can kind of see it, but not really. Okay, for funsies, let's do poison. Yeah, this is not gonna go through there. Okay, so as I'm magnetizing this, I'm gonna do the thing that I often do when I realize that there could be a better option that will help me to test this out. You see there, like Electric Jaguar just covered up both of those magnetic lines completely. So what I'm gonna do is go back off camera because I'm not a quitter. I feel like this is getting very close. I just think I need to change around the order for some of this. Okay, so what I'm gonna do is for these two nails here, I'm gonna start exactly like we did before with 3 coats of KB Shimmer's Obsidian for our multi-chrome foundation. Then on top of Obsidian, I'm going to put Electric Jaguar on both of those. And that will be where I pause and come back. And we're gonna try to put Fiery Attraction on top of that, and then Poison on top of that. And we'll see what happens. Okay, we've got on these 2 right ones 3 coats of Obsidian with 1 coat of Electric Jaguar on top. And I mean, look at this. If you were to just look at this, these 4 here, and if I hadn't told you or shown you that there was any difference between, I mean, these 2 are the same, but like, you can barely see that there's a magnetic line underneath. Like, I can definitely see a little bit of like where the end of my fingertip is. There is where the red is. I'm barely seeing this in Poison there too. I feel like, you know, when you go to see your optometrist and they say like, oh hey, read the 5th line, and I say, yeah, I can't read it. I can't. And they're like, give it a try. And y'all, there was one time I said to my optometrist, I'm like, I am pretty sure that this is not the case, but I think one of those, like, is this Cyrillic? And he's just like, okay, we're done here. So yeah, that's how bad my vision is without glasses. Anyway, what I'm gonna do next, now that we've got the like shimmer coming in from Electric Jaguar here, the hope is that when I put our magnetic polishes on top of this, that we're still going to see that shimmer. I know we're not going to have any issue with seeing the magnetic part on top of it, but I don't know. My prediction is that I'm going to probably prefer the level of opacity that Poison will give us, but I'm going to want that red color that looks a lot closer to what we're aiming for with Enchanted Confection. But let's go for it. That is just a gorgeous red. Oh. As this one is magnetizing, I will tell you that what I'm seeing here and what you can probably see on either side of the magnet is that, like I mentioned, Fiery Attraction is a very opaque magnetic polish, and because of that, it brings a very strong red cast to it. So this is that result. I mean, I'm looking at this and it really just looks like I put Fiery Attraction on top of a black cream polish. If you didn't tell me that there was some kind of shimmer underneath, I probably wouldn't have known that that was there. So in that case, like Electric Jaguar, while we know it's there, it's just not really doing much there because of the opacity of Fiery Attraction. So it's gonna be up to Poison to make something happen, because I want to, for those of you all who are trying to buy Enchanted Confection, I want to give you some kind of option here. We've got this. We can do it. Okay. Poison, I know I've talked bad about you before, but I believe in you now. I believe in you. You can do it. Oh, okay. Yeah, I'm okay. Again, I know you all can't fully see what's happening underneath here because of the magnet, but from what I'm seeing so far, that actually looks, again, it's not red. Let's just get that out of the way. It's not red, but it's kind of close. Like, I can see the presence of some shimmer underneath there. I can see a magnetic line, which will become stronger when I tighten it up. And is it, okay, did I nail it? Is it an exact dupe? No. Is it close enough to Enchanted Confection to feel like if you happen to miss out on that polish in this next round of purchasing from HHC, could you potentially use something like this to match it? Maybe. I feel like if this had been more of a pure red, that would be one thing. And, you know, if I had something that was more like the Fancy Gloss magnetic toppers that are designed to be a topper in a way that Poison is not, that I feel is what could really help to tie it together. Unfortunately, I just don't have a red magnetic topper like that in my collection. So at times when I've tried to do these types of dupe attempts, I find myself using what I do have to try to replicate it as close as possible. So I don't necessarily think that this is as close as I was hoping that it was going to be, unfortunately. But I do really love what I learned about combining Electric Jaguar on top of Obsidian as a good base there. I mean, it's not like you're really gonna see necessarily the multi-chrome finish that's underneath there, but I will tell you from experience that Electric Jaguar, is gorgeous as it is with all this shimmer, it is a polish that takes multiple coats to build up to any kind of good solid opacity. So you need to put it on top of something in most cases. And since I already have Obsidian in my collection, it could be one of those polishes that I say, okay, especially because I've used it enough of it to where I probably couldn't de-stash it. I at least have another purpose for that. So I'm hoping that maybe when I take this outside, it's gonna be different. But in any case, this was fun to still see how it turned out to be, and I'm very still happy that I took the time to go through all of this and to at least see how it would turn out. And that brings us to the end of this video. As I'm looking back over the swatch wheel again, I mean, I'll just say we had some very mixed results. Some of these turned out better than others, but I know I said a lot of things about the last one here that had the needing to do a multi-chrome, some shimmer and magnetic, and just the result ended up being not what I was hoping for. as I was wrapping things up and putting top coat on this, I was looking at that electric Jaguar polish again, by the way, again. And I realized just how beautiful that polish is, even just in indoor lighting, which not all nail polishes are. There's some polishes like linear hollows that tend to only look really vibrant outdoors. And when you have something like electric Jaguar, it's really nice to have as an indoor polish. I mention this because this weekend I'm going to a wedding and I have the dress that I'm wearing. It's like a, I think the description calls it like an emerald forest green, but I think it's more of like a teal green. And I've been trying to figure out what color nail polish to wear with that dress. I've been leaning towards like a red so far because you can never go wrong with red. But now that I have seen electric Jaguar again, I'm gonna have to do some comparisons and see if that might be the one that I choose instead. I mention this because even though I didn't get the dupe outcome that I was hoping for with these last 4 that I was trying, one of the benefits I feel for me doing this exercise was that it gave me the opportunity to revisit a polish in my collection like Electric Jaguar that, quite frankly, I have not looked at in months. And so sometimes what it can be is that you see a polish that's coming up for sale that you are thinking about buying because there's something in it that you're drawn to that appeals to you, and by going through the activity of trying to dupe it out, see what you've already got in your collection, it just I don't know. I just have been really enjoying this. It's been helping me to make a lot more use of what I already have and to ensure that when I do buy new things, I'm doing so with a lot more intention, with a lot more mindfulness, and knowing that I'm bringing something into my collection that I truly do not already have. So I'm excited for the wedding this weekend. It's not my wedding. I'm gonna be a guest. It's always the best when you are just a guest at a wedding, especially when you're just a guest, you're not in the wedding. You just show up and you celebrate people and then you have cake. What's not to love? And yeah, so I'm gonna stop rambling now because I've been talking for quite a while, but I just want to say thank you all again so much for watching this video. I've been, I think this is maybe 2 or 3 weeks ago that I decided to start this channel, and it's still just mind-blowing that I'm up to, as of this recording, 91 subscribers. That is just, I really appreciate all the love and support that you all have been showing for my channel. It helps me to know that this content that I'm creating is something that people are watching and appreciating. I am very much enjoying the process of doing this, so I'm gonna keep doing it. And yeah, so thank you again. I've got more great videos to come. I hope you all have a fantastic rest of your day, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.